How did you first discover what really mattered to you as a leader? Was there a moment or experience that helped you define your values?
I would say you learn kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly through experience, right? I was fortunate enough to have some great leadership behaviors modeled for me earlier in my career. And I also had the inverse happen. I think, I've been through a couple of rodeos. I was thinking about this just the other day. I came up with the number 15. That's how many leaders or bosses I've had so far. And as you might imagine, there's a couple at the top, a couple at the bottom, and then there's a lot in the middle. But I think you remember the edges distinctly.
Mhm.
I had, one leader that was just unbelievably fantastic, and he actually became a mentor of mine and still is to some degree. And the way I would describe him, one is honorable. I don't use that term lightly. He was consistently fair. Everywhere, every direction, every person, every situation, really. He had just an ability to be powerfully succinct. And I think of him often when I'm speaking too long and and not getting to the point quick enough. I'm like, channel your Ted, right? And then the last thing I would say is, I was going to say he had no ego. Of course he had an ego, he's human, but he didn't let ego get in the way of getting to the right decision. And with his individual conversations as well as team dynamics, that is something I aspire to do in my role as a leader. And I think, those attributes are just really, really important to me, and things that I've been able to appreciate in my past. He also gave me a book. The title of the book was I've Got Your Back. And it was actually a book written by Brad Gilbert, but he was a tennis coach, professional tennis coach. And he had a tremendous track record at bringing people kind of back up to the top, right? It wasn't by accident. And so later on, when I joined Blanchard, I heard actually Scott Blanchard in a keynote speak to one of the most fundamental consequences, if you will, of good leadership is when people that they lead feel like their boss has their back. That to me has just been this moniker, if you will, that I always want to aspire to have that said about me, anybody that I'm leading or anybody that I have that influence over or partnership with, because it truly is a partnership. If I can be 50% of Ted, I'm doing really good.